of you know what a stenographer is? According to court reporters, stenography is likely one of the most identifiable methods of recording the spoken word. It is the person you see typing in a courtroom. So basically anything the judge, defendant, jury, anything that is being said in that courtroom, they're typing away. Well, today we are not going to talk about them. We're actually going to talk about stenographers, or more specifically ultrasound. The reason I brought up stenographers is because usually when I say I'm going to be a stenographer, people assume that I say stenography. So instead I have to say, oh, I'm going to be a stenographer doing ultrasounds. According to Ultrasound Technician School, stenographers perform ultrasounds, which is a type of medical imaging that uses high-frequency sound waves. Stenographers can be in a hospital or clinical setting, depending on the type of ultrasound they are being used. So there's also different types of ultrasound machines. There are machines that are big and bulky. You know, they have like the old school computer screens that are big and they're heavy to carry around. Or there's the newer ones that are very slick, very small, very lightweight, and have touch screens on them. They're the latest and greatest of the technology in ultrasound. At school, we have what we call the dinosaurs, which are the old and bulky ones, up to newer ones, not like the newest and greatest, but they are newer ones. There are also many different types of ultrasound scans. Some of them are OBGYN, abdomen, breast, vasculature, and echocardio. Today I'm going to give you more information about OBGYN ultrasounds, breast ultrasounds, as well as some of the physics behind it. First I'm going to tell you how it all works, basically the magic behind this curtain. So that way it would make more sense to you while I explain the exams. As I told you earlier, ultrasound is a medical test that uses high-frequency sound waves. According to Sidney Edelman, author of Understanding Ultrasound Physics, the sound pulses created by the transducer and travel through a biological tissue. Reflections arising from the boundaries between structures in the body return to the transducer and are processed into images. An easier way to explain this is to think of how a bat hears. They use the sound waves that bounces off objects to tell how far away that object is. The bigger the object is, how tall it is, all that stuff, they're able to hear because the wave bounces off and how fast it comes back. They're able to see the distance and basically the arrangement of those objects or shapes. Basically, that's the same thing as ultrasound, except it forms a picture, ultrasound forms a picture on the screen of the body part that you are scanning. Since our body is not the best at transmitting sound waves, we use this gel. It helps, as a medium for the transducer. Once it hits your skin, the gel goes on and it helps kind of transmit the sound waves into your body and bounces off, so it makes it clearer to see on the image. That does get messy, but it's really easy to clean off. And back in the old days, it used to be cold. Now a lot of places actually have gel warmers to keep it nice and warm. Next, we are going to talk about OBGYN and ultrasound, specifically OB ultrasounds, and that's actually where I'm at in my clinicals. OB ultrasounds are done when you are pregnant. It is the chance for mommy and daddy to see baby before the baby comes into this world. According to Reva Curry, author of Sonography, Intro to Normal Physiology and Anatomy, rapid changes that occur in an early pregnancy is essential for obtaining accurate, interpretable sonographic images. That's only in the first trimester. So usually when you see your first ultrasound picture, it's like a little tiny circle. And like a couple weeks later, you see this much. And a couple weeks later, it's like this big. It's such a rapid changing in the first trimester that those images on the ultrasound machine are so vital. Also, according to Reva Curry, the second and third trimesters of a pregnancy are a progressive period when the organs and organ systems become fully developed. During this time is when we do an anatomy scan, so about the 20th week, so we can see if there's any abnormality about the baby. Whether it's a heart defect, club foot, any abnormality in the brain, we're able to scan about the 20th week to catch those, and we can either, figure out a plan to go from there, whether up to delivery, or aftercare, or how to prepare the mother and father. Later, during the third trimester, it does get harder to see the baby because one, it is running out of room, and because bones on ultrasound cause shattering because of all the calcification in the bones. So, as the baby is developing, those bones are more formed and more calcified later in the pregnancy, so it makes it harder for us to see. Lastly, we are going to talk about breast ultrasound. According to Kara Romanak, author of Diagnostic Ultrasound, there are 3 roles for sonography and breast imaging. 1 is primary screening, 2 is secondary screening, which is following a mammography, and 3 is diagnosis. Ultrasound has become a major part in detecting breast cancer. According to Kara Romanak, some of the main indications for an ultrasound are a palpable lump, mammographic densities, and sonographic mammographic confirmation. Basically, just to see what you saw in the mammography to confirm with the ultrasound or vice versa. During a breast ultrasound, we treat the breast as a clock. So if you were to say that you felt a lump at 3 o'clock, you would look at the breast and kind of visualize a clock and go where it would be 3 o'clock on the breast. That way you would scan there. And usually you would probably scan around 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock as well, just to get the general area. That way you're not just scanning all over the breast trying to find the lump. It makes it a lot easier for us to do our scanning. So in conclusion, I informed you of the basics of how an ultrasound works, some information about OB ultrasounds, and some information about breast ultrasound. I'm hoping this will help ease minds if it ever comes up that you will need an ultrasound. And also I hope people realize that stenography and sonography are 2 different worlds. Thanks.